Another one from Mayday. If the male partner is supposed to lead, does he have to be the more spiritually mature partner in the relationship? I think he needs to be the head, but women offer a lot of wisdom. I mean, there's countless, stories in the Bible where a woman, is gives very solid advice, and is the arms of the story. Like one of your favorite stories is Ruth.
Yeah.
So, um,
Well, but I think Boaz is still, like, spiritually.
well, yes, he's the spiritual head, but I think they're talking about like spiritual, like mature in spirituality as a whole. And so, yeah, I think the husband has to have a certain level of spiritual maturity, but I think the wife is supposed to help in in the way of like in the story of Adam and Eve. It's like Adam is going about just naming all the animals, and then he comes and sees Eve's like opens his eyes to a whole different side of Adam, or of himself that he wouldn't have otherwise known. And so, yes, I think the husband is a spiritual head. I don't think he necessarily has to be, you know, the most spiritually mature, because I think the woman can help, guide him in his spiritual maturity. But with that being said, there is a certain level of spiritual maturity that you need to have to take on a relationship such as marriage on both sides.
I would say I would say I think so. It doesn't have to be, like, dramatically, like, different in spiritual matureness, I don't think,
Well, yeah,
but
because there's no like meter that says, "Hey, you're at level 9." You see
yeah.
what I'm saying? Yeah.
Yeah, but I do think, um, in order to lead, you kinda have to have some kind of substance or some kind of, like, standard where it's like,
Right.
"Oh," like, I think you just have to be at a point where, like, the girl is like, "Oh, okay, he can spiritually lead me." Like, it doesn't have to
Exactly.
be, like, crazy or anything.
Right, exactly. Because I mean, so for instance, like there could be a female who is been in church and she's really got it together, and then her romantic interest that she's interested in dating, maybe he is, has just newly turned his life around.
Yeah.
And so he's not as spiritually, you know, mature as her, as far as he hasn't had years of being in church and serving God, but he still has a heart on fire for God.
Yeah,
And
mhm.
so, in that case, he's on the right trajectory. And so, that kind of goes back to it was the first rule that we went over in yesterday's video. So, you're going to want to check that out. You're going to want to look at his character and the direction of which he's headed. You want to really judge him by his faith and by the fruit that he is producing, rather than saying, "Hey, is more spiritually mature, or is he more spiritually mature?" Because then you're getting into like tick for tack things, and that's not what a relationship's about. The relationship's about coming together as one and y'all being able to grow as a unit in God. And so, if y'all are both, you know, heart after God separately, when y'all come together, then you're just going to be able to, grow exponentially, because you're in the confidential relationship that God has for you in holy matrimony.
Yeah.
So, great question.